Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at story problems and word problems using function notation. Just a reminder, this is the full-length lesson, so we're going to go step by step with a bunch of examples. If you would like the short version, where we just go pretty quickly over the main ideas, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already be familiar with function notation. So if you'd like a refresher on that, I will link that in the description as well. All right. So if you want to pause the video and read the problem. Now that you've read the problem, let's look at this notation. It says, what does f of 5 equals 10? All right, and we should already remember, hopefully, let me write this up here. F of 5 equals 10. All right, we should already be familiar. Remember, this is the name of the function. This is the input. This is the output. Okay, we covered that in the previous lesson. So, and they told us when she sells X posters. So the X, the input, right, represents posters. And the output, 10, she makes f of x dollars. So this is money. Okay? So now let's put this into a sentence, right? When she sells 5 posters, she makes $10. Okay, so when she sells 5 posters, she makes $10, which is this answer choice, right? This answer choice is incorrect because they flipped it, right? They said if she sells 10 posters, she makes $5. That's backwards. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work on these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for this first problem, the 0.3 represents the seconds, and then the 39.8 is the speed. And so this bottom answer is incorrect because it said the ball traveled 39.8 meters, right? And that's a distance, right? This one says the ball has a speed of 39.8 meters per second. That one is correct. And for the second problem, okay, the 0 says is the days after launch, and then the 2.7 is the distance to Neptune in billions of miles. So 0 days after launch means we haven't launched yet, right? And the 2.7 is the distance to Neptune. And so this first answer is incorrect because this says 2.7 days. And that's not what the 2.7 represents, right? The 2.7 represents the distance. Okay, if you want to pause the video to read this problem. All right, now that you've read the problem, it says, what does f parentheses 40 equals f parentheses 41 tell you? So let me write it over here again. Now, let's look at, remember, this is the x values, right? What goes in the parentheses is the x value. And so they tell us where x is his age in years, right? So here he was age 40, and here he was age 41. Okay? So immediately we should be able to look at this second answer and say that's incorrect, right? Because we didn't gain 1 pound. We are going up in years, right? The age is what went up by 1. So we know this answer is incorrect. And then the first answer says Leo had the same weight at 1 yearly checkup and the next. All right, so every year, right, when he went at 40, it was the same, right? That's what equals means, right? So at age 40, it was equal to age 41, all right? You got the same weight at age 40 and age 41. All right, it's time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to practice these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, the number in parentheses, the x, represents years, right? And so here we're talking about at 15 years and 20 years. So we know it's this answer choice, okay? Because this says after 15 years, the tree is 20 feet tall. But this doesn't tell me anything about the height of the tree. This only tells me about the years, okay? And for this second problem, again, the number in parentheses is the number of seconds here. This is time, right? So this tells me about the time that the ball has been in the air. And so this second answer is, this first answer is incorrect, right? Because it says the distance above the ground is 3 feet. But this doesn't tell me anything about 3 feet. This tells me about 3 seconds, right? So this one is wrong. And the second one is correct, right? Because 0 seconds, right? The ball's distance above the ground is the same when it leaves his hand, right? So he tosses it up. That's at 0 seconds. And then 3 seconds later, the same height. So probably what has happened is he throws it up and then it falls. Either he catches it or it continues falling. All right, last type of problem here. Okay, I'll give you a second if you want to pause the video to read the problem. All right, now that you've read the problem, we have this inequality, right? And the way we read this is f of 9 is greater than 12. Remember the greater than, think of the monster, right? The monster's hungry, it eats the bigger number. So this is saying, and remember here, let's label. So this is X, this is bins of towels. So we'll say towels. And 12 is the number of laundry loads here. So we'll say laundry loads. So this says that when I have 9 bins of towels, it will take more than or greater than 12 laundry loads, right? So when I have 9 bins of towels, so that would be this answer right here. It takes more than 12 loads to wash 9 bins of towels, right? This is reversed. This is backwards, okay? All right, it's time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for this first problem, the number in the parentheses is the X, so that's the number of shirts you're ordering, and the 10 is the cost. And so this says that if I order 25 shirts, then the cost will be less than $10, right? So under $10 if I order 25 shirts. So this is correct. And remember, this one is exactly backwards. And for this second problem, remember that the number in the parentheses represents her age, okay? So this tells me nothing about her height going up by 1, right? So this says, basically this says when she was 5 years old, or age 5, her height was greater than age 4 height, okay? So this first answer is incorrect because it's saying, oh, she grew 1 foot. No, that's not what 5 and 4 here represent the age, nothing to do with the height. And this is correct, right? Because it says, when I was 5 years old, my height was greater than my height at 4 years old. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.